I've been asked so many times about the significance of the concept of economic growth. In um, basic economics, right? Economic growth is determined. I mean, if you use the production policy curve, you have the actual and potential. And economic growth is this concept in a basic way is changes in GDP. And if we think that GDP is a good measure for um, standard of living, then obviously if there's an increase in economic growth, there's this concept here that people are producing more. The economy is producing more. And there's this theo- very stylized kind of theory that if there is more economic growth, that means there's more goods and services within the economy. So this economy can produce more, and we can produce more. People have more. Of course, that is the nominal way of talking about it. And what you learn is to change nominal to real, because maybe in the goods and services are the same, but it looks greater because of inflation, higher prices, but same number of goods and services. So they use the term real. Um, Granted that you should also take the real GDP divided by population size, because maybe population grew 50% and the economy grew merely 5%. So when you compare ratios, it's not so great for everybody. And of course, there's the distribution of the wealth of the economy. Maybe the majority of economic growth goes to only a certain group of people. So there is a kind of imbalance in the sharing of the wealth of the economy. But economic growth, as I said in my earlier recordings with regards to GDP also, economic growth is important because it is like a report card, it's tangible, and most of the time they use the US dollar, and all the different economies use US dollar. Um, it gives a good indication because everybody's using the same way of measuring economic growth. However, you need to use a few more tools, the Lorentz curve, which I may talk about again. You must also compare it together with, as I said, Lorentz curve and the level of FDI, because sometimes the economy is able to attract foreign direct investment, but there is a time lag for FDI to be churning out into the economy. And especially during COVID, the construction industry had literally had a 90% slowdown. So FDI may be physically in the country, but the actual building of the structures to house capital has been slowed down dramatically through COVID and safe distancing. So, so economic growth has to be taken into the context of economic growth with FDI, and of course, economic growth to the number of foreign talent that comes into a particular country. Because when countries are able to attract foreign talent in, eventually the foreign talent will be able to use higher capital intensive technologies and attract new foreign direct investment in. And how many of these foreign talent eventually become citizens of the country? So economic growth is important, all right, starting from the measurement of national income, of course, but it must be taken with other indicators to help the government do what we call decision making.